trotter for tea. Tuesday, September the 22nd, 1936. Raining again. I shouldn't be surprised really, it never bloody stops round here. I pull the collar of my coat around my face and step out into the drizzle. The cottage door clicks on the latch behind me. I'm off to the butcher's. I fancy a pig's trotter for my tea. To be honest, it's pretty much all I can afford. A few spuds from the garden with it, mind, and it'll be lovely. You wouldn't have thought it would be an issue for anyone to walk 30 yards to the butcher's, but I'm feeling really uneasy. The butcher, Mr. James, is as good as gold, but that wife of his, she's a devil, all bosoms and innuendos. Fancy a bit of leg, Mr. Ackerman? Lovely chicken, Mr. Ackerman, tender thighs and plump breasts. I got a lovely bit of rump if you fancy a treat. I don't know where to look half the time, to be honest. It doesn't help that she's damn good looking. Dark skin, black hair and soft brown eyes. Now, I'm not saying I fancy her, no, but you can't help but notice. I passed Merv, the old sea dog, sitting in the bus shelter. Bus has gone, Merv, I say. I know, he replies without raising his head. I'll see you in a bit now, I say. He doesn't answer. I peep in through the window of the butcher's before I go in. She's not there. Thank the Lord on high, I say to myself. Her husband, Di, is behind the counter. Di English, we call him. It's not his name, mind, but he is English. And that's the way it is round here. Everyone's got a nickname. Just a trotter, please, Mr. James, I say politely. She be out now, Nail, without looking up from the chicken he's plucking with his stumpy little fingers. She's out the back polishing the sausages. I don't know if I'm misreading it, but I get the feeling Mr. and Mrs. James are playing a bit of a game with me. Just a trotter, Mr. James. He's not interested. Philly, he calls. Philly! Nail's here to see you. I'll be out now, she says. I'll just do my face. This is getting ridiculous now. 2 minutes later, she appears. She's made up like a chorus girl, and her chest puffed out like an old jackdaw. I look at Mr. James. He winks at me. There is definitely something going on here, and I am definitely not interested. I just want a trotter for my tea. Now then, she says, in her husky, cigarette-damaged but very sexy Dublin accent, I'm all yours. I think I blush, but I keep staring down at the counter. Just a trotter, please. That's all, Mrs. James. If this goes on much longer, I'll be having spuds without trotter for my tea. Oh, you're so formal, Nail. Call me Philly. Feels more friendly. Now, surely there's something else I can do for you. Just a trotter, please, Mrs. James. I've got Merv waiting for me. How about a couple of faggots, Nail? Made them myself this morning with my own hands. Very good for the skin, they say. She thrusts her hands towards me over the counter. Feel, she says, soft as a baby's bottom. I stare at her hands. Easy now, says Di. Don't you be holding hands with my wife while I'm standing here. Wait till I'm at the back. They both laugh. She puts the faggots into a brown paper bag and pops them on the counter. Take them, she says. They're free to you today. I know you'll be back for more once you've had a taste. She smiles and laughs again. I look at Mr. James, grinning to himself. I pick up the bag and make a hasty exit. So long, big boy. See you soon, she says, as I go through the door, and I'm sure I can hear them laughing as I cross the road to the bus shelter. Merv is still sitting there, head down, deep in thought. I sit down next to him, and we sit together in silence for several minutes. On his lap is an old tin box full of memorabilia from his days at sea. He spends a lot of time looking back, does Merv. Doesn't seem to have much time for the future. He's a good friend, but he can be hard work at times. Faggot? I ask, and push the open bag towards him. The smell of warm faggots is hard to resist, even for a man living in the past. He takes one. Thanks, Neil. We eat our faggots and he sits up straight. Across the road, I can see Mr. and Mrs. James looking at us through the window of the shop. She waves. I ignore her. Merv wipes his hands on his coat and then his hair. He goes into his pocket for a hanky, I think, but he pulls out an old hat ribbon. Embroidered into the ribbon are the words HMSS Aboukir. He runs it through his fingers and then puts it into the tin and replaces the lid. I was determined not to go underground. Killed my father. To be honest, it killed him for about 15 years before he died. Bloody dust. In 1906, when I joined up, I got the train to Plymouth from Cardiff. Small bag on my shoulder, that was it. Didn't have anything to take with me anyway. My mother put a cooked ham in there for me. Where she got the money for that, I don't know. My father would have gone mental. Joined up to get away from the pit. Travel the world. Ended up on the coal anyway. After basic, I trained as an engineer. Oh, I travelled the world all right. In a bloody engine room, stoking coal. Not what I had planned. Down the pit you should be going, not off to sea like some floating Dick Whittington. He loved a pantomime, my father. Went to the Grand with his father when he was a kid. Full of wise words and dust, my father. And there's me thinking you were an admiral. I'm trying to lift his spirits, but it's to no avail. He looks down at the tin for a few seconds and puts it into his pocket. Mind you, Neil, I did see some wonderful places. Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, and good friends, Merv. 8 years full of the best shipmates a man could get. He looks down at the floor. 22nd of September 1914 she went down, Mail. 22 years ago today. He breathes deeply and sighs. Whew, lost 3 ships that morning, Neil. U-boat U9 got us all. Cressy and a Hogue went down too. 1,500 men dead, nearly 600 of them on the Aboukir. All my friends, Neil, every one of them, dead. Got hit on the starboard. Engine room flooded, and over she went. You were lucky, Merv. No, Neil, I should be dead. I should have been there with them. He stops talking and clenches his fists. McGinty. Mickey McGinty. Drunk, Irish, gallant. Saved my life and killed my soul. Did he get you ashore, Merv? Aye. 2 days earlier. Punched me so hard I lost 2 teeth. Smacked my head on the deck. Opened me up like a tin of sardines. Only asked him what was for duff. Didn't like it, did he? Thought he was a chef, see? 1,500 men on the seabed. And me in a bed and breakfast in Ramsgate. I should be dead, Neil. I should be dead. The rain stops and we sit in silence. Tot, Merv? Aye. I take a hip flask from my trench coat. We both take a slug. Nelson's blood, says Merv. I smile. You're a good shipmate, Neil. Cooey! We both look up. Philomena James is strutting towards us with a white paper parcel in her left hand. What do you like, Neil? Forgot your trotter? She hands me a parcel and I put the entire contents of my pocket into her open hand. Is that enough, I ask? She takes my hand and puts the coppers back. Have a couple of pints, she says, and holds my hand. It's only an old trotter. I look at the shop where Mr. James is standing in the doorway smiling. He winks at me, and I nod. Thank you, Philomena, I say. Will I see you tomorrow, Neil? She asks. Not if I don't see you first, I reply. Oh, what the hell did I say that for? She giggles and walks back towards the beaming Mr. James. Come on, Merv, let's get out of here. I'll put on this trotter to boil, and we'll have a pint. Aye, aye, shipmate, he says, and we head down the hill towards the War Memorial. Thanks, Neil, says Merv. You're welcome, shipmate.